And at this time, I'd love for everyone to rise in body or spirit and join us in our opening hymn, number 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are.
Because you were going to sing all through once, okay? So we got to remember when we get to the end, no matter what part you're singing, come, yes, again, come, rest. There's an extra volume in there. Rest early and too early. And we ended up with all this stuff, but we don't notice it because it's around. But anyway, it's important to me. So we'll sing all together once, and then this time. I'll cue you to start off. You sing 3 times, then you come in second. I'll start you guys off, and then the choir will be back to clean up, and we'll all do it 3 times through, and it's going to be memorable.
If you have an open seat next to you, put your hand up for 1 second. We do have a couple people looking for seats. There is overflow seating in Fellowship Hall. All right. Welcome to the UU Church of Delaware County. This is Ingathering. This is the launch of our new church year. As I was getting ready for work this morning, very demure, very mindful, that's a joke for the Gen Z people. I was feeling so much excitement about the church year ahead. Our Soul Matters theme this month is invitation. And I'd like to invite you, whether you've been here for 40 years or 4 years or 4 minutes, to enter into this new church year with hope, with enthusiasm, and with love at the center. I hope you'll stay after today for a picnic sponsored by our UUCDC board. And I'd like to invite Ed to light our chalice this morning. Please join me as we recite our covenant together. Oh, wait, it's down there. We covenant to embrace one another in community, to welcome all with an open heart and a generous spirit, to seek to understand others with grace and patience, to speak our truths bravely and respectfully, and create space for all to be heard, acknowledged, and valued.
Good morning. Good morning. I could not imagine a more beautiful day than we have today for this magnificent beginning of what will be a wonderful church year. I welcome you each and all. I'm thankful for your presence, that you are here to provide the warmth of human love to our community. Every service during the year, we make space to acknowledge our joys and sorrows by the dropping of stones in the water. And those stones that we use have a very special significance. And today, I'd like to engage with you in the blessings of the stones as we initiate this most important ritual in our service. If we consider, is there anything more ordinary than a rock? A rock doesn't really do anything. It's inert unless you move it, unless there's some force on it. It doesn't do or go anywhere. It's solid and dense. It does not grow like organic matter. We humans have come to value, however, some rocks over others. The diamond is a rock that we've decided has great importance, and we have given it that value. But it is, at the end of the day, a rock like any other. My point is that there is nothing really particularly special about a rock of any kind except what we give to it, the significance we give to it. What we are doing today is giving significance to the stones that we will use throughout the course of this year. We're going to make them special. In fact, we've already done that. For some or many of you, you chose a stone from your yard or somewhere on your street or some place that was important to you. You noticed it. You liked how it looked and felt. And you wanted to bring it here for this special place and time. Perhaps you brought it from far away on a trip you had made. Let's take a moment then to acknowledge some of the places, to name some of the places that you have taken your stones and rocks from. Could you just call out as you feel? Okay, all right. Now, who gets the prize for the furthest away? We don't know, but it was brought from a lot of places, your stones. Some have meaning, some have associations. Some reflect a memory, maybe you have. They've all been brought here to this sanctuary as a gift for us all, a gift that we'll put to use every Sunday during our services. Dropping them into the bowl of water, which we will do in each of our services this year, is done with both deep gladness and a heartbreaking sadness sometimes. And just as a stone tossed into a pond or any body of water creates ripples that move through that water, so our joys and our sorrows spread out into this community and are shared by us all and touch us all who are part of this community. And just as a stone is dropped in water and so immersed and held by that water, so each and every person here who drops a stone is immersed in and held by the love and compassion this community gives. So now, I offer a blessing upon these stones and ask that the ushers bring the stones forward as you are able. And while they are doing that, please join me in reverence for the prayer for our stones. Rock of river, rock of mountains, ancient rock of endless time, we bless you. You have come to us from distant lands and perhaps our own backyards. You are the world brought into and made visible in this sacred space. May you carry well the joys and sorrows, all the celebrations and concerns that are entrusted to your care. Be strong for us. Be the foundation upon which this community is built. May all who have brought you here and all those who hold you in the year ahead feel the steadfast love that surrounds them. Amen. Thank you. I wanted to take note of a special and important change that will happen during the worship services this year. And Joe has reminded us, our worship chair has reminded us in prior services about this. But beginning in September, we will restart the practice of passing the basket during the offertory at both services. Generosity is an important value of our faith, and the actual act of physically passing the plate, in the words of Reverend Erica Hewitt, is an affirmation. When we give, we say yes to something we value, namely our church community. Some back history is that we stopped this practice during COVID, and we went to online services, as most all UU churches did, and did not return to it until we returned to in-person services because of the need to be socially distanced. Now seems the right time to begin this practice. The primary reason for doing this is to reestablish in our worship the actual act of giving to this place and to one another. It is also a way of instilling value and generosity in our children and youth and enabling them to directly see this act of generosity. As in the past, baskets will be passed out at both services. During the offertory, allowing attendees to put in cash or checks. Remote attendees can continue to give as they have using the text to give function. This change is not created to try to raise more money or anything like that. It is a way to show and demonstrate our caring and our generosity. We gratefully receive now all donations made to this church and to its many works.
From you I receive.
We're working out the choreography of passing the basket again. It'll take us we're relearning this process, but you're doing great. No. So I have the Wonder Box with me today. I'm going to pause for a photograph. So the Wonder Box, if you've never been here before or you haven't seen the Wonder Box in a while, it doesn't come out in the summer. It stays, it doesn't like the heat. So I will shake the Wonder Box. There's something in it, and I will shake it, and we will all get to guess what is inside the Wonder Box today. Are we ready? All right. Ooh, wait. I'm going to do this. All right, what are we guessing? You can yell it out because it's rocks. It's never rocks, but that's a good guess because we're talking a lot about stones this morning, right? What else did I hear? Bubbles? Marbles. Marbles, it does sound like marbles, right? That's a good guess. A bone? It's not, maybe for Halloween, we're not quite there yet. Wait, what did you say, Ellie? Jet pig. No, jet pig's really soft. Jet pig's not in here today. Yes, Luca. Rocks. Blocks. Ooh, it does sound like blocks. Yes, Cece. Like plastic figures, like action figures. That's a good guess. That's not it. Sam. Oh, a box outside. We have done that before. That's tricky, but that's not what this is. I'm going to give you a hint. This is something found in nature. Sticks. Oh, what was it? Acorn? Yes. Sharon got it. All right, so I have some acorns this morning. So, who knows what kind of tree an acorn comes from? Oak, right, an oak tree. So, what do you think these acorns what do you think these acorns hope to be someday? An oak tree, yeah, an oak tree. Now, if I dropped these acorns right here on the ground, right in fellowship, or in the sanctuary, on the floor, would that hope happen? Would this acorn become an oak tree right here in the, no. What would happen probably is that later this week when Bob's cleaning up, he would sweep them up, throw them in the trash, and this acorn would not get what it was hoping for, right? So we've all had some hopes. You've had hopes, right? Sometimes your hopes happen, sometimes they don't. That can be a little sad, but that's true. But there are things that we can sometimes do to help our hopes happen. So for the acorn, what would be some things to help this acorn that hopes to become a tree? Water, yes. Water, definitely. What else? Soil. It needs the right soil, yeah? Margaret?
Plant it in a clearing and then put water.
Yes, it needs, Margaret pointed out, it needs a clearing. It needs a lot of space, right? An oak tree is big. So it needs sunshine, soil, water, anything else? Yes, it should be buried by a squirrel. That is helpful. A little bit of fertilizer in there too. So our acorns need the right conditions to grow, to become what they hope for. What about our hopes? When we have hopes, do our hopes need the right conditions to happen? Yeah, so what are some things that our hopes need? Like maybe a little effort, sometimes a little work, a little luck, maybe some help from others in our community. So we are entering an exciting church year, and we all have a lot of hopes for this coming year. I want you to think about the hopes that you have for the church year ahead. And I'm not saying like I want you to think about them later tonight. We're going to do this right now all together. So we're going to take a minute to think inside our heads about some of the hopes we have for this year. All right. Anyone want to share a hope that you have for this year? Mary?
Grow our congregation by spreading the word.
Grow our congregation by spreading the word. Any other hopes that people have for the year ahead? Health, yes, yeah. We want our world to be just. Anything else? Joy. I like that. A happy, settled minister, yes. Yeah, that energy of our community to grow and thrive. I love it. Renee? Make new friends? Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. So we have all these hopes. Let us not leave them on the floor of the sanctuary for Bob to clean up. We want to carry these hopes with us. We want to share them with each other, and we want to do the work that we need to help our hopes happen. Thank you for listening to my story this morning.
I believe this congregation is on the cusp of something big, to become something more than you have been, and you've been a lot. But I sense in so many ways there are big things afoot here. And as they used to say long ago, I feel the Spirit moving in this congregation in more ways than not. And I think as this year unfolds, you will see in many ways why what I am saying is true. But this whole wonderful, mysterious, marvelous thing we call a congregation and everything it does would not be possible whatsoever if it were not for what I call the co-ministry of a congregation. And by that I mean the minister and the staff on the one hand and lay leaders on the other hand join together and work together for things that they really value. And it is a wondrous thing to see the talents and the passion of people rise up and express themselves in so many ways. As a teacher for social justice, for the RE program, and in so many other ways. Now, today, as we launch a new year, we want to offer up special blessings to those volunteers who serve every week to make this possible. And there's a lot of people involved in that, believe me. This is not to diminish all the great work that's done by so many in social justice and RE and on that happened here, but it is to give a special claim of appreciation to those who do this work. And blessed by those who serve. We are deeply grateful for those who lead us, those who teach and guide us, those who comfort us. Let us remember always to express the appreciation we feel for the tasks they undertake. May their contributions in turn inspire us to offer up our own gifts for the benefit of those gathered here and those we may never meet. Gift building upon gift, talent building upon talent. Let us always remember that these are the blocks that form the foundation of our beloved community. Blessed be, and amen.
Peace in coming.
I'll use this pulpit mic rather than my portable. I am wildly, almost uncontrollably optimistic about the future of this church for many reasons. And part of those reasons is because I have worked so closely with so many people who are leaders of this congregation, and I've seen their dedication. And it is a marvelous thing, and I've seen their devotion and their skill. So I can say loudly and strongly and firmly that this church is led by people who care deeply about this place and about your future. There's a lot of good things happening here. Some of them have not yet become visible, but they will. One thing that's great and will soon become visible is that you're going to have solar panels at this church. I mean, that's a marvelous thing. And drive around to a lot of UU churches and you'll find that nobody has made that great leap forward to actually doing this, because it costs resources and money and people's attention, and you're doing it. Well, that's a reflection that you treat your beliefs and values as something real and not just an ephemeral thing that you can be indifferent to, that you care about what you're doing. A lot of things were done last year to prepare the ground for what is coming. What is coming is a new settled minister. And you are in great shape for that, or you are heading more and more toward that place of being a very solid, desirable place to be. You are solid financially in terms of your leadership, in terms of your organization. It's all systems go and getting better every month. And you are prepared for the future that will be here when a new settled minister gets here. Another thing that's wonderful is this year you're not going to have a lot of competition, by which I mean there aren't a lot of churches in this area or around Philadelphia who are competing churches. I shouldn't use the word compete to talk about churches, but I know in the search process that is a reality, and you are really in good shape for that, and that is great. And you have the intrinsic great values that will attract people to you. Now let's think for a moment about how important you are, how important this place is. Let's think about that for a moment to grasp how important it is that we have this thing called church and a congregation. It is, to consider two things, a place of radical acceptance and radical hospitality. Please think of that for a moment. Please let it sink into you that this is a place where no matter what you believe or who you love or what your beliefs are or your lack of beliefs are, you are welcome here. And you're welcome here because you're a human being. And because we are all on this common quest to figure out what it means to be a good human being, a full human being, a whole human being in this society of strife and chaos and difficulty and division. Just think of it for a moment that we are a place of radical acceptance. That we say to each and all, you are accepted because you're a human being. You don't have to be anything special. You don't have to believe anything to be okay. You don't have to believe this or that thing to be okay. You don't have to be this type of person or that type of person. You are okay. You are loved as you are, for what you are, with no strings attached. And we are an institution in society that's dedicated to that proposition and those propositions. It is a place, we are a place where love is at the center. It is a place where we strive to understand, what does it mean to be a human being? What does it mean to raise a child in a way that is good for them and good for society? It is a place committed explicitly to justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, generosity, all centered and powered by love. Someone a few moments ago said, what do they hope for? And they said, growth. If people understood that there was a community dedicated to the things that I just mentioned, do you believe that they might be interested in being here? I think so. I think that we have to get less shy about saying to others, you know, this might be an interesting place for you to be. And we are a place that come together freely. There's a person that's really trying to call me really bad, but I've silenced my phone. I've done the best. So we are a place that do this freely. Nobody is coercing anybody to be here, to bring their children here. We are, I'm trying to say, a very important institution, and I hope we can all be aware about that. There's another reason why I am wildly optimistic about your future. It's not just because you are very well suited to meet the moment of your future minister and to work together into the future, but I am optimistic about the political drift of things in this country, because I believe this country is on the cusp of entering into a completely new era in which the needs of ordinary people are put front and center. I believe that after a long, long time of difficulty and strife, we are heading to a country that's based more on the political and social values that really matter. So you here who are gathered at this moment are here at sort of a magical moment, I think, looking for a new settled minister at a very good time, in very good conditions. But let me say that your faith and your hope, practiced, not just held inside, are needed and in abundance. The faith and hope of everyone here is needed. Things just don't happen magically. People in this congregation, I hope you all understand how important this time is for your church and for its future. This time is an important time for people to show up and get engaged. This is a church of the people, by the people, for the people. You make it happen. I ask you to make it happen and to meet the moment. I ask you to get involved to the extent that you are able and to stay involved. I invite you to realize the contribution that each of you can make to the great tapestry that is this church. When you get a new settled minister, that person is going to bring their own style, their own interests, their own special skills and commitment to ministry. And it will not be a repeat of the past. It will not be a rehashing of the past. And it is important for you to understand that. It will not be a recycling of everything that's happened before into a new form. And it is important for you to be ready for that. that you be receptive to that and that you are open to that, because the best thing that could happen to you is a mixture of the radically new and the best of what is old. Now, let us all consider all of this. Everything I've talked about, everything that you have, everything that is now possible for you at this magical moment is because people in the past who were members here cared enough to make it possible for this place to be here, whether through their efforts in committees or on boards, or whether through their generosity of giving. And so I want us to have a moment where we acknowledge those people from the past, or people who perhaps were members here but have gone somewhere else, who you know made it possible for this place to exist. And so I'm asking each of you to just call out the name, as you feel so moved, of someone you know who made a contribution to this congregation in the past to make it what it is right now. So you can see from just these few moments how many names bubble up in the memory of people who gave a lot to make this place possible. And everything we're doing now is built upon the shoulders of what they did. But now it is your time. It is your day. It is now your church, and it is your future, and you alone, collectively and individually, will choose your future. I would be remiss, however, if in closing, I failed to note that we are also affected by the context we live in, and our context is that the coming election we are facing brings with it the possibility of the diminishment or severe detriment of our democracy should one candidate with autocratic aspirations prevail. So I ask you to get involved in the social justice efforts of this congregation over the next several months and to engage with it in the fullest of your ability. Faith and hope are needed and in abundance to make possible the wonderful potentials of this congregation. Faith that our fondest vision of the future may prevail, and hope that what we envision can come true. And may we all work to make faith and hope prevail. And now let us rise for our closing hymn. Now, remaining standing, and I would like to ask Chrissy to go forward and to extinguish the chalice. And as we do, could we join together in our benediction? For those who come here seeking God, may God